basically what all these people are, what they all have in common, Piers Morgan, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, where we disagree is that at the end of the day, they are liberals. And by that I mean, like Tucker, what is our disagreement? He goes on All In and says tribalism is evil. White identity politics is the same as BLM and, Zionism and all the other identity politics. His position is we need these universal principles, like we're not going to harm each other, we're not going to steal from each other, as long as everyone's raising their children with the same values, that we're all going to get along. And that's a liberal viewpoint. This is like blank slateism, individualism. My message is, no, there are distinct races. There are distinct genders. Like the world is filled with distinction, and we have to act accordingly. So in other words, if America becomes majority non-white, it will be fundamentally different because non-white people are different than white people.
Which is inevitable, right? I see the late night talk show hosts like Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, they're almost celebrating the fact that whites are soon going to be the minority in America.
Right.
Something they're very happy about and excited about. Which, if you said that about another race, soon Jews will be the minority, blacks will be the minority. You wouldn't get an applause in the crowd.
Well, and what's funny about that is you'll see guys like Elon Musk talk about this. Because what I would say is that's anti-whiteism. In the same way you got Islamophobia or racism, that's anti-whiteism. And you'll see that guys like Tucker, Matt Walsh, Elon, they are anti-white. So they'll frequently talk about, liberals hate white people. If the shoe were on the other foot, if people were saying this about black people, that would be wrong. And what they're pandering to is white grievance. White people have a grievance about how we're being treated, about mass migration. And you'll have these guys that are paying lip service to those grievances, but their answer to white grievance, their answer to anti-whiteism is liberalism.
Yeah.
Like Tucker, Walsh, and Elon, they're not they don't say immigration moratorium, we need to reverse the demographic decline, we need to stick up for ourselves as white people. They say, please, black people, stop playing identity politics. Please, Jews, let's all play by the same rules. And I guess what I would say is, if you think anti-whiteism is a problem, you need to be pro-white. I guess maybe I sound like BLM. In other words, it's not enough to be anti-white. You need to be pro-white.
Right. I heard Logan Paul say the same thing, but for BLM.
Yeah.
As a white guy.
But because it's recognizing that whites have distinct interests, and just like the other groups, we have a right in an open society, in a democracy, to advocate for those interests.
Right.
And I would say that, as far as that is concerned, people say, well, no, we can't emulate their identity politics. We have to reject it. To that I say, you first. You want to abandon identity politics? Well, who's been playing it for 60 years? Immigrants, black people, Jews, women, gay people. Now everybody says, whites are getting angry. Whites are becoming nativist. Okay, let's all stop playing. I say you first, because we got here because everyone was playing it. White people are finally waking up, and now the Tuckers and the Walshes and the Elons want to come in and say, no, white identity isn't the answer. I say it's the answer until everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, I completely agree with Nick. And I will add to that the fact that identity politics is a thing in every country, okay? Even if you look at Islamic countries, if you look at any African country, if you look at even Asian countries, these people want to stay the majority, okay? As an illegal, if you go to Pakistan, you literally get 10 years in prison. But at the same time, there are people come here in Europe and America by the millions, and we give them free food, free healthcare, and free housing. It's completely different. And I say this because I want to show the fact that not only they play identity politics in our countries with movements like Antifa, Black Lives Matter, LGBT, the Muslim Brotherhood, they play it even in their own countries against any other. So we're the only ones that have this liberal view of accepting everybody. Well, what about colonization? Bro, every country you can cite was literally better when was colonized. If you look at India, if you look at any country in Africa, was better when was colonized. This is just facts.
About Muslim immigration. They always talk about how there needs to be less of that in Europe, and they seem to try to relate it to America, even though Muslims make up, 2% of the American population. If they're liberals, then why are they so vocal about that sort of immigration?
Well, I would say that, first of all, these guys like Elon, they're pro-India, but they're anti-Muslim, which is funny. And same in the UK. Tommy Robinson is pro-India, anti-Muslim. Yeah, and if you're white, you're like, they're the same people, basically. Like Pakistan and India, when they declared independence, they were basically segregated by religion. There's not, India is a very diverse country, ethnically and racially. So why, in other words, why would you say, oh, Indians, come on in, Pakistanis, no. And I think what that has to do with, of course, is that it's politically expedient to be anti-Muslim. And I know a lot of Muslims, like when I say that, it's a fact that it is politically expedient to be anti-Muslim because, America has a strained relationship with some of those countries and because of our alliance with Israel. Israel has a gripe with Muslims. They want us to have a gripe so that, we identify with their struggle and we support them in their fight. I think it's that simple.
I think you're the only one in the right wing that sees the PSYOP, right? Because Netanyahu said publicly that he was going to invest money into the propaganda.
Yeah.
And it's always the playbook over the last 20 years has always been just call Muslims terrorists.
Yep.
Nonstop. After the Iraq war, after every war that we go to support Israel in the Middle East, they just blame radical Islamists. They did that with Iran as well. And everyone fell for it. Everyone started to say, oh, they're talking about Dearborn, which is a non-issue. It's like, 100,000 people in this. They're not really bothering anyone. The crime is pretty low. Everyone immediately started to jump on that bandwagon, even though it doesn't really pose a threat. Even on Rumble, I used to stream on Rumble, you stream on Rumble. I saw ads pop up like the radical jihadists. It's like these AI ads for boomers right next to Black Rifle Coffee. They're talking only about Muslim immigration. So the reason that's happening, is that all distraction? Because Alex Jones seems very annoyed by Muslim immigration. He's very worried about that. Does that actually pose a threat?
I don't think so, no. And I'll tell you why. It's funny you bring that up because what you would say about Dearborn is that it's an enclave. It's an enclave where it's a smaller town and it's mostly Muslim and you'd have sort of like a monoculture there.
Right.
But there are enclaves everywhere, and there's Jewish enclaves.
All over New York, and I don't see anybody talking about that. New York City, there's neighborhoods in Borough Park and Crown Heights that are they look like Israel.
Yes.
Like, they all wear their hats, they have their own police, they have their own bus station, they have their own schools, they have their own language. They don't, even though they're in New York City, they don't communicate, and they're told that they only interact with each other. But there's nobody protesting that.
No, and it's everywhere, too. In New Jersey, no, I have never heard any mainstream person talk about this. There are, like, ultra-Orthodox colonies in New Jersey. I've never seen anyone document it, talk about it. I only know because I know people from New Jersey. And they say, oh, these Hasidic Jews are taking over this whole town. In Surfside, Florida, in Crown Heights, in New York, it's like you said, they have their own ambulances, their own police. It's like an enclave. And so you say, okay, Matt Walsh, so what's the difference between that enclave and Dearborn or Minneapolis or Springfield, Ohio? And I do think there's something cowardly about it because, let's be honest, like the Haitians in Springfield, I know you're Haitian, you're also Muslim, so, Dearborn or whatever.
Sakbasi.
But it's like, it is the most egregious example, let's say, because Haiti is not doing so hot.
Right.
So it's
Trump's
easy.
at a shithole country,
And I get it, but to me, that's almost like punching down. There's something cowardly about it. I did a whole show about it. I'm like, Matt, why don't you talk about all the Jewish names in Hollywood and New York? He's going to name all the Muslim names in Dearborn. Okay, yeah, like, I see your point. Name all the Jewish names in Wall Street.
Well, I saw on Tucker Carlson, he said he doesn't care about Israel.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He just doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't care. Isn't that the right defense? Isn't he enlightened to not care about and only put America first by not caring about Israel?
That's total cowardice.
I agree with Nick with the fact that there's a double standard for sure. But we have to admit, bro, the Muslims are too many. Like, you can say that, but at the end of the day, when you go outside, you don't see a bunch of Jews, When we go outside in any city in Europe, not every country and every city, you see a bunch of Muslims in the street. And I don't believe the fact that Sneako said 2% of Americans. Bro, 2%? Do you understand? 2% is not 2%. The stats are not real. I don't know what the fuck did you see, 2%. And the fact that crime stats are clear, Afghani, Pakistani, and African Muslims are always at the top, even though they're a minority. In the crime stats, you don't really see Jews. That's why people are so mad to Muslims.
You can't have it both ways. You can either, you got to oppose all of it, or, you should just shut up in general. You know what I mean? Because it is cowardly to say, oh, I don't care about Jews running America, but Muslims running Dearborn? This is a red alert. This is, this is a red flag crisis level.
Yeah.
I think it's very obvious what's going on there.
Same thing. I recently saw a major push, people talking about the Somali immigration, and you had a good talking points. Whenever Trump is losing support right now, he's more unpopular than ever. His approval rating is how low is it right now?
It's I think it's like 41%.
And whenever he wants to get it up, he immediately says something racist, and he says something to create an us versus them.
Yeah, but come on, bro. Come on. Don't cover for the Somali. Bro, these people have literally the lowest IQ in the African continent. They don't even have a country. They don't have a constitution. They don't even have a government. But at the same time, their people come here en masse and think they can govern our cities and our countries. Come on, bro.
Mentalities. Right now, it's the Somalis. It's who's that congresswoman that he doesn't like?
Elon Omar.
Elon Omar. Right? He's going really hard at them. Is that a major issue going on? What's happening with the Somalians?
That's another thing where, I think the Somalians should be deported. Because it's so egregious. She goes up there in Congress and she's like, as long as I'm in Congress, you have a fighter for Somalia. And it's like,
yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's mirroring the Israeli rhetoric. Yeah. But here's what I will say about that. This is the classic Trump playbook. He gets unpopular with his base because he's terrible at governing. He's disorganized, not strategic. His team is full of fucking idiots and criminals. So inevitably, and I knew, this is why I didn't vote for him, I knew it was going to go in the toilet very quickly. Trump sees the approval rating collapse, he's unpopular, so then he goes and plays the greatest hits. Shithole country, fuck Muslims, you're garbage, fuck Somalia. And it's like, yeah, we didn't elect you to be mean to these people, we elected you to fucking deport people. Yeah. But you can't do the deportations because that's hard. So instead, you're going to basically do the lowest common denominator. You're going to appeal to people's basest instincts and say, fuck the people we don't like.
Right.
And everybody goes, yeah! And it's like, okay, but, he did that last time. And, we want to make America great again. We don't want to just be mean to people and, talk shit.
Yeah.
We want the deportations.
Yeah, he acts like he's still campaigning. Even when he's in office, he has the same rhetoric as if he's trying to run for office. And I noticed, too, they're posting a lot of edits. The ICE, the White House posting videos of cool ICE deporting people. Why haven't they released the statistics? How many people are actually getting deported? What's going on there?
It's funny you say that because ICE is supposed to report every quarter how many people they deport. Mm-hmm. They're supposed to give weekly numbers and quarterly numbers. Do you know that ICE has not put out the number of deportations since Joe Biden was president?
And why is that?
Because they're low. Mm-hmm. So, and it's so funny because their press office, the White House press office, will put out numbers, but those aren't the official numbers. ICE has reporting requirements, they just don't do them. Because the government knows how many people it deports. They keep fucking track. That's a number they have. But it's so low, they won't publicize it because it's an embarrassment. It's probably like 300,000 for the year, which 10 million illegals came in 4 years under Biden. If you're deporting 300 to 400,000 per year, by the end of Trump's term, you've deported over 1 million people. It's nothing. So that's why they won't publish a number.
Yeah, so guys, let me know in the comments what you think. If you agree with Nick or you don't, leave a like if you want to. Christ is King, and God bless you.